Heyo, log 16.0. Trying testing this new mic I got. Not as expensive or as I guess um, feature rich as the one I've been using, but that one's too big. And I put it behind my computer. I think that's too far from where it's supposed to be honest. But I don't want to bring it up in front of the computer or keyboard, just gets like in the way. So I got this little guy. At the same time I got that guy, but this was like via Indiegogo. So it's been like a long time coming. Finally came through. What, just the other day, like 2 days or yesterday, maybe even. Check it. Well, that's the headphones. Look, it's like this little guy, right? Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. And what's cool about it is that I can actually record straight to it and it'll keep it, and I can play back it, just put it in my pocket, record myself sort of thing, mobile recorder. Whereas this is just a pure microphone audio, better microphone, I guess. But this doesn't sound too bad. I tested a little bit just before this call, like testing 1 2 3, testing 1 2 3. It's not okay. See how it goes. But got it. It's white. I'm not typically a fan of like white sort of stuff, even though Apple's all about it. Also, not the biggest fan of Apple, to be honest, even though I come from Appletown. But what it reminded me of was like Bahas, I think it's called Bahas Design, which is what one of my like exes taught me about. Um, Bahas, am I even saying it right? Like Braun was like part of like Bahas Design. And I saw, and that was always white. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, I'll go with the white one instead of what the black, typical black. And like another one red as well. But I'm a big fan of Indiegogo, especially if the product comes through and it's, all it was promised to be. So far, I'm happy. We'll see how it goes though. Um, yeah, little gadgets, right? Not a necessary purchase per se, but I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, after this week, I need something to kind of raise my spirits. This was a week of mental health, man. I think this might have been the worst week for me in like a long time. I mean, to say it's the worst week ever, I don't know about that, but it's up there. And maybe if it weren't for like doing these recordings, maybe I get forgotten. Maybe no, not this week. This week unforgettably difficult for me. And it's not just that it was a busy week. It's not just that things weren't going smoothly, which is all true too, especially busy, especially not smoothly. But mentally, like I just was not on the ball. And it was really like kind of humbling, especially coming after how off of how I felt this time last week, how I was talking, how I was thinking, how I was feeling. It took a big bite of humble pie this week, like we're coming right off of this one last week. Um, and like even like this week, it wasn't that it was like things I did like you ever do things and then you look back, you're like, what was I thinking? I was on autopilot, or rather like maybe zombie mode. Like looking back at like work I did the other week and like, when did I do this? Why did I do that? What was I thinking? Can't even remember. Like what the fuck? And like cleaning up like mistakes I made from like even last week when I was feeling good, I guess, or better at least. Um, and there's something said a bit about like depression. Like I've heard it been said that like maybe that's just like you momentarily having better grasp on reality. Like maybe being depressed is just be more in touch with the realistic reality. Whereas when you're not, it's maybe you're not as more just out of touch, right? I'm butchering it badly, but I think you get what I'm saying, right? And maybe that's how it was this week. It's just like a reality check that sort of sucked. Definitely sucked. Um, but what's scary is I realize when I'm not on the ball, it's bad for the company too, which is not good. It's one thing to be not on the ball in your personal shit, like, oh, the gas went out in my house again this week. I was so impacted with calls and stuff that I couldn't even like make it out to like go refill up my gas card to get gas, to get back fucking stove, hot water, heater. I was in the house with like a jacket, fucking freezing. Couldn't even cook pasta because I had no gas either. And that's different. That's personal, right? There's no one's ill affected but me. But when I'm on the ball, it doesn't just affect me, it affects not just my customers, but the company. And ultimately, given the nature of what we do, we do automation, misfiring to like my customers, like who knows how many people kind of thing. Fortunately, there was no like really bad, huge mistake, but like in a way it was worse that there wasn't just one bad, thing. It was just a lot of little death by a thousand cuts sort of thing. And I just didn't have the heart for it this week. The or like it just really but just demoralizing, man. Um I wanted to just give up kind of thing, shoot myself sort of thing, just kill me now kind of thing. Um, but now I'm through it. It's Friday. I always feel much better Friday regardless, right? So this time and time out, but you know, uh, maybe I should do these on days other than Fridays so you can get insight into how I am earlier in the week. Because earlier in the week, I'm a totally different person each and every week. Mondays are especially bad every Monday, weirdly, really, really bad. Like it's something I think I need to speak to a therapist about why am I so bad on Mondays, every Monday? What can I do to change that? Do I need to treat my Sundays like my Mondays? So Monday's more like a Tuesday? Like, is there, I don't know what, right? And I don't know why either, because it's not like I hate my job. It's not like I come in to work each week, like hating my life. Well, I do. That's the thing. I do every Monday. I fucking hate my life. I hate myself. I hate my customer. I hate everything. Fuck it all, kind of thing. But like, it's not like I hate my job. It's not. In Mondays, I kind of do. Definitely do. But it's not like I know I don't hate my job. So I don't know. It's weird, man. It's something I think I need to speak to somebody professional about. Um, Maybe I need to do one of these on just a random Monday, just to give myself an insight into how I actually am on Monday, because I know how I feel, but how am I actually? I feel like I'm horrible on customer calls. I feel weak. Uh, I, I feel like I come through bad too. But I don't know. Maybe I just need to like check some recordings from those calls and see if it's as bad as it felt, um, as it always feels. If I sound as bad as I feel. Regardless of how I sound, it's how I feel, and that's the bottom line, and that's the real problem. And then this week, on top of all that, like, I was interviewing a ton of candidates. And I feel like it was an especially busy week, regardless of candidates. I think it was one of the busiest weeks, regardless of candidates, point blank. Then on top of that, all these recruiters nipping at me about feedback, about this candidate's resume, scheduling these rounds, calls, et cetera, et cetera. It was just a fuck shit stack of overwhelming work, amount of work. And sometimes, like having a lot of work, it's not always bad. Sometimes I power through it and feel like, really accomplished and like I'm kicking ass and taking names type of thing. But this week it was a slog. It was like quicksand, man, in my head at least. Felt like I was, struggling and still sinking. Um, Overwhelmed in a way that I felt like paralysis. Like there was so much to do. It was hard for me to even get started sometimes, right? I'd be like smoking a cigarette, just like with hell anxiety, thinking about all there was to do instead of actually doing it. I mean, eventually I did it, but like all this time, like what next? Which start? Where do I start? Like I don't know. It just wasn't in a good state. Wasn't in a good way this week, and it was like overwhelming in like a paralyzing kind of way as well. That's what I'm saying. But ultimately, week ended with final rounds for two candidates. Funnily enough, there was a panel of four of us interviewing the final two, at least from this batch. I mean, a batch of maybe 10 total, two made it to the third and final round. Question is, do we interview more? I mean, is having interviewed 10 or so enough? I don't know. A big enough sample size to pull the trigger on anybody. Um, and then again, we could continue interviewing and maybe lose out on one of these two, and both of these two were pretty good, to be honest. They were the ones that had me feeling better about the whole process this time last week, because Thursday of last week, up till even Thursday of last week, I think I was just still feeling horrible about even finding a decent candidate. Then I saw these two and I had hope, and these two, everyone else seemed to like too. Now the question is, do you continue to look, or would you pull the trigger on one of these? And if you sit on them, you may lose them. And I don't know, it's difficult. It's also difficult to like judge people. I'm not even a fan of like dating apps, in the sense that I don't like swiping on people really, right? Like I'm not a fan. I don't feel good about it. Like I don't like it. I don't get any like satisfaction out of swiping. Just like, as judgmental as I may be, I don't really get satisfaction out of like judging, between two very different people. Like I think they were very much, there are similarities of course, but like very much apples and oranges in terms of style, which is something very abstract and understood by all others that interviewed them, but hard to quantify, hard to compare when it comes to something like style. One very much an empath and one very much no nonsense. I'll just say that much about the two of them. And I think that highlights kind of the differences well enough, right? Um, and then like, on the topic of these two, right? Because it's significant for me. This is, as I said before, be my first official hire that I'm responsible for making. Interview people before, had the chance to veto people before, but never get the executive decision on the actual final hire. Like I did like an exercise. I put together an exercise, and here again, like I regretted even like committing to an exercise being a part of the process, because then when it came time for the round, I had to put it together for them. I was so swamped, so overwhelmed, put it together on the fucking fly. And when I say on the fly, like for me, on the fly still takes time. I don't think I work very quickly, to be quite frank. I think things take me longer than most people. I think emails take me longer than most people. Not in the sense that like I write longer emails than most people. Maybe I do. I definitely used to. I used to have a bad habit of writing like very fucking long emails, dude. So glad I got away from that. But I would say like time per word, like I think I'm above average. I think it takes me longer to write an email than it does the average person writing the same length email, is what I'm saying. Same situation when it comes to putting together presentations. I think it takes me, even if I've done these presentation, who knows how many times for countless other customers, same type of presentation, just reproducing the same sort of thing. Some reason I still feel it probably takes me in some way longer than some people. And it's not necessarily because I don't know. I'm not trying to explain it away. I'm just trying to say I think this is true. Can make sense of why that is and why it's true another day, right? Not today, but let's start with establishing what I believe to be true, and I have to explain why I think it is. But yeah, so I put it together and then didn't give much instruction. It was also kind of an unusual exercise, because in the end, it resulted in a lot of savings for the customer, but would, per the pricing structure that our sales reps been pitching pre-sales, as far as post first year, what the pricing would be after the first year. If you stuck to the pricing after the first year, the way it works out is it works out to be a downsell, despite us having generated like huge ROI for them, So it was kind of like, I guess that was the trickiness of it. And I'm not trying to like trip people up or trick people out. I just want to see if they notice that it's unusual. And then in my head at the time, at least, I want to see how would you handle kind of an unusual circumstance like this, where we're generating very significant ROI for this customer, but per the proposed pricing structure or internal guide, it's not something we actually advertise on our website or anything like that, but like per like internal guide on pricing, it would result in like a 50% downsell. Just doesn't add up, doesn't make sense. So let's see kind of what they would do, how they would handle. But didn't give much, if any, direction, to be honest. And wholly expected that one or both would come back with questions, and one definitely did. And if I were to guess which one it was going to be, it was that one, right? That I would have guessed. And I'll be honest, when she came back with the questions, like I was expecting as much, right? Because I realized that I didn't give much, if any, direction. Part of it was because I was like, there's other stuff I got to do. I just got to get this out and give them time to do it too, right? By the time they both got maybe like 36 hours, like a day and a half to do it. I could have spent more time on it. I just wanted to get it out, and the recruiter was like, when are you going to get it to them, type of thing too. There was that extra email like, hey, they haven't received it yet, like, oh goddamn, that's okay, let me just get it over and out to them without agonizing over the details, right? Just let me get the data together and they can figure out like what to and what I want presented on, right? What automation performance, savings to date, and a renewal proposal off of this data. What I was really hoping for, to be honest, was just one of them would take that data and create some sort of visualization, like straight up a graph. Like if either of them had output a graph, I would have been so happy, right? Because you can graph out of any given like data set, that 3 rows, great graph, right? No graph was created by either, but okay. One was very basic, but professional looking presentation. The other was very involved and very like A+ for effort, right? And like it like showed that she was smart, really crunched the numbers, really did some like interesting analysis, but very basic, unprofessional, quite frankly, looking presentation, right? So one, aesthetically much better, very simple, very straightforward, very to the point, but obviously did not spend as much time on it. The other spent a lot of time on it, but I'd almost be more embarrassed if that was circulated with like a customer, for instance, right? Because it just looks so unprofessional. Whereas the other one got like one key thing wrong, but if that were fixed for, it was like one of those things where if they came with the presentations for feedback before sharing with a customer, one was just very easy, change this, change that, okay, send, right? The other one was, I don't know where I would start with my feedback. Like it was very obvious they put a lot of work, very thoughtful, really thought it through. But I'd be like, okay, that whole slide has to go, you have to, how do I give feedback on like, it looks unprofessional, like, it's kind of more difficult to do, right? That's how I felt and feel about kind of the two outputs as far as the presentations are concerned. In the final round, we didn't even go over the presentations, almost treat it like a separate objective signal to evaluate separately. Didn't even give them a chance to kind of present on what they put together, which I think was probably maybe for the best, right? We spent the hour actually speaking with them and then, evaluated the presentation separately without them having a chance to like really explain or explain away anything, and treated it just as if, these presentations I make for customers countless times, may get circulated with other execs I never even have a chance to speak with, and it has to kind of stand on its own without me being there to explain what I'm presenting, right? So there's that. But I'll say one last thing about these two. So the one that asked the questions, right? All very good questions, very smart, very sharp, right to ask these questions. But when I got the questions, I was like, oh, fuck. Now I got to answer these questions. So 30 more minutes at least of my time just responding to her, right? And the output of her presentation I preferred her presentation less than the other girls whose I had no input on, but I preferred the output. This one cost me more input, like the output less. But what I did do for the second one is I did follow through with her with the answers to the first one's questions, right? So she had those answers also. She responded, "Oh, I had many of the same questions too." Whether that's true or not, right? And then she said thanks, and then she sent the presentation shortly after I sent her those answers, and it was very clear, or at least I thought it was clear to me, that she sent the presentation maybe only like 3 hours later. Maybe she had time to factor that in. She definitely had time to factor in the answers, but I had the feeling that she had already done the presentation and just was sending it to me pretty quickly, to kind of show that she had already done it without the answers. And also it was clear that she didn't factor in the answers into her presentation. She didn't redo it, right? Because there's something in there very clear that she got wrong in what was included in the presentation, that if she actually read the answers, she would have fixed for. But I feel like she already kind of did it without asking any questions, and then just submitted it shortly after I emailed her unprompted with the answers the answers to the question this other girl asked, just to kind of keep it fair, right? But what I really liked is I really was really kind of hoping that they wouldn't really ask any questions, and because I would never really ask questions. I've done these in the past too, and I just kind of run with it, right? And anything I'm unclear on, I'll kind of explain and when I present, sure, but I never find myself feeling like I should or want to ask questions. I'll run with what I've been given, um, which in my mind's eye is part of the point of the exercise, you know? But some may differ. Some may feel like the fact that the other one was proactive and asked very intelligent questions is a plus on her side, right? To make sure that what she's doing with a clear understanding. Um, with- that that she understands before she does something, right? But ultimately, I feel like I prefer the one that was like no nonsense, just got it done, more autonomous, less empathetic, maybe less kind of keen is the one I actually kind of prefer. Um, and that I feel like I can trust more to just be, professional, and just own the book of business, and less emotional, and kind of I think would have like the thicker skin of the two for sure, and I feel would be much more rock steady, um, much more cool, calm, collected, as opposed to the other one who's more keen, probably put in more effort, more work. Um, you know, to say one's smarter than the other, I don't know, but the one that was more keen, put in more effort, more work, definitely did like a more sophisticated analysis by far than the other one. But is that really necessary? Sometimes the CSMs just kind of keep it simple, and professional and straightforward and easily digestible, and that's what the one I'm preferring, I feel like, is and does. And stay cool, calm, steady, right? I have a very bad habit, I think, of getting very stressed about customers. My former boss, who I think was my best boss ever, to be honest, here, no less, last boss, um, will always say to me, you care about your customers too much. And when she first said that, there's a natural knee jerk, what do you mean? But I know what she meant. I get what she means. Um, and it's almost like a compliment is of sorts, right? But at the same time, she was saying like, don't get so invested. You got to detach yourself some. At the end of the day, it's good for your health and good for the professionalism of it all. Don't get don't care too much, type of thing. Like my mom used to say before me and my brother used to go to school, she would say, don't work too hard, right? Every morning, dude. Don't work too hard. Like if my dad knew that my mom was saying that to me and my brother every morning when dropping us off at school. He'd be like, "What the fuck are you saying? Don't work too hard. No, fuck that. Work hard. Go work fucking hard, dude." I mean, my dad would just totally disagree. And I don't think he'd ever know. I don't think he did. No way he knows that my mom would say this to me and my brother, like just about every morning. Just like every morning when she'd wake us up, wakey, wakey, rise and shine. If you had had your sleep, you've had your time. And then would open the blinds. Oh. And see, like creature of habit kind of thing every morning. And then everyone should drop out. Don't work too hard. Like, what? My dad would be furious, dude, if he knew that she was saying that to us every damn day. The wakey wakey rise and shine, I don't think he could care less, but like the whole don't work too hard, like, and in many ways I didn't. I took it to heart. But even when we were young, I thought it was funny how she would say that. So I guess I'm going with the one that I think won't work too hard. But no, I mean, I definitely want a hard worker. I am a hard worker, okay? Like I definitely want a hard worker, but I just want someone that will keep it simple and I can trust to keep it simple for herself, for me, for the customer. Keep it professional. I don't have to worry about her getting affected, getting emotional, getting needing help, or like raising alarms, or like need to be talked off a cliff kind of thing. This is one just to kind of own own it, own their book of business, and not. This one that I want to go with was complaining about how her managers were, why she wants to leave, where they're very micromanaging. She didn't say micromanaging, but like that's what she was saying, over micromanagement, which is interesting here because she kept repeating too, like it's like they don't trust me type thing, right? Like, do you trust me or not? Like, I want to work somewhere where they trust me, and not going to micromanage me, which implicitly is kind of a dangerous thing to say because it means that implies that they don't trust you. And do they not trust you for good reason? I mean, it's got us all questioning, right? Um, and but she was very she even repeated it, right? And when she first said it, I thought, oh, sometimes somebody says something and then they think twice about how that could come across. And then either it won't say it again or will like backtrack on it a bit, or like not backtrack on it, but like kind of reframe it, restate it later. No, she actually repeated it like pretty much verbatim. Like, they just micromanage me too much. I don't like it. Like, it's like, do you trust me or not? I'm hired to be a trusted advisor, and every day I feel like I'm wasting time kind of bringing them up to speed when the notes are in Salesforce already, and I keep detailed notes, and it's like they don't trust me, and I don't appreciate it. And the only reason she's even at the current job, I guess, because the previous place she got laid off because of Corona. I think she landed here, just to have a job. It's only been there 6 months. Here again, she's kind of hopping. So I'd be a point of concern too, because that's the last thing I want, is to hire someone that's not going to be here long term, especially as a CSM. It's not like a sales rep where it's just so easy to plug and play. With a CSM, I mean, they're pretty useless for the first 6 months anyways, because you're really supposed to be a product expert, and they won't be until like at least 6 months in. And if you're going to leave after 6 months, like, but she's looking to leave where she's currently at, like, fuck that, right? But she's very clear about, not a fan of kind of how the company's run, how management is, sort of thing. She has a good relationship, but just doesn't appreciate the micromanagement. So that slices two ways. One is that maybe there's a reason they're micromanaging her because they don't trust her. Maybe there's good reason they don't trust her. But at the same time, if she is really competent, and I could see this, I've seen this from myself, right? If I felt like I am really competent, and every day my manager was asking me to kind of repeat what I already took copious notes on in Salesforce for them day in and day out, right? I'd be furious. I'd be like, dude, I am a competent CSM. Like, you are wasting my time, right? Like, fuck this. I don't have, the notes are there, read them. You want me to read them to you, right? Like, fuck off. Like, no, this is not for me. Like, I know I'm a good CSM. I don't need to kind of update you every damn day on every given detail about every single account, particularly if I've taken damn good notes you can just as easily review without wasting our time. So, because both ways, I could see how, and I like to believe, and I feel like she is competent, and I like to believe that's really what it is, and I like to believe that that's why she, had no hesitance in even the way she framed it, stated it like way too micromanaging. Like it's like they don't trust me. I don't want to be here, right? Uh, so we'll see how it all goes. Like I said the other week. I mean, I've never really, I haven't ever hired anybody. The only person I've ever really kind of hired was Jeremy, fucking Jeremy, to just to safeguard my dog, resulted in my dog's death, dude. So, and that's very recent and fresh and still fucking sore. So that's the closest thing to any kind of hire I've done to date. So, god damn, I hope I get this right. We'll see. Time will tell. And I'll be sure to update you all. What else? What else? I'm so caught up in like myself and work that like I even forget to mention things that matter so much, right? Give a good example. Last week I forgot to mention that my brother's wife's mother died, right? That's something very significant about last week, and it totally even slipped my mind to mention, right? And I always start these with like, "What about this week is unique," right? And that's something significant as fuck, and very needless to say, unique. And I'm so like self-absorbed, I forgot to even mention it, man. And that's not okay. Um, and I'll take it a step further than confessing to being self-absorbed and sound really horrible here, right? Ooh, this is gonna sound horrible, but in a way, the mother's been like hanging on for like a decade, I think, right? A decade, it's been over a decade, or at least a decade thereabouts, that she's had cancer and been fighting it. And I think a long time ago, I think she's outlived like projections that for her 10 years ago by far, right? Um, and I know, like, I think part of, they didn't explicitly say it to me, at least, or I don't know about anybody, to be honest. I think part of the reason they pulled the trigger on getting married when they did is because the mother was more obviously than ever on like the last leg, and they wanted to be sure to kind of tie the knot before she passed, sort of thing, is what my mom, I think, sort of like was saying. But I don't think at the same time my brother and his wife explicitly said that, right? Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know, but they were going to get married regardless. I really believe, right? I believe for a while, even when they broke up, I still thought, I wouldn't be surprised if they get married. They broke up a bunch. I mean, they've been dating for what, 15 years, high school sweethearts, since they were freshmen and sophomore. She's a year older. Since she was a sophomore, he was a freshman. He might even dated when he was a seventh grade. She was eighth grade. I don't know, right? But anywho, um, but I was almost like kind of relieved. I was like, it's good that she, like that sounds horrible, huh? I was like, it's good she's gone, and now Marriott, my brother and his wife can move to Arkansas, and the wife doesn't have to worry about the mother being on her deathbed back in the Bay Area, right? I could see that really tearing her up, being in Arkansas with my brother, which won't can't imagine it'll be easy. Not that I know shit about Arkansas outside of that's where Bill Clinton was governor of, and University of Arkansas. They're called the Razorbacks, and that's where Walmart's headquartered. And that's why my brother's going there. And that's literally all I know about Arkansas. Oh, and I guess it borders, or the Ozarks kind of go into Arkansas also. And I only know that because of the series Ozarks, right? I don't know shit about Arkansas, man. But I can't imagine. I don't know. So but if my brother and his wife went there and her mother was dying back home, I could see that really tearing her up. And in a way, honestly, my first real reaction was like a little bit of like, it's for the best. But to think that way about death, especially someone's mother, I don't know. Makes me second guess myself, right? Yeah, I think kind of heartless in some ways sometimes, really, honestly. Even like with my other buddy whose father has cancer and stuff too, like he's going through a tough time, and just to kind of, you call him Eeyore, right? But he's always like got these little things he texts, and I don't have the stomach for it. Like it bothers me, right? I don't know. I'm like, just man up, man, or let it all out, right? It's these little like breadcrumbs of pitiful woe is me statements. I don't know how to explain that, just drive me crazy. I'm like, dude, I either just let it all the fuck out right now, right here, right now, or man up, And it's this like, I don't know how to explain. I'm not going to try, but it's something that I'm not good with, right? I think I'm a kind of an insensitive person, right? I think in some ways, I think I'm a very sensitive person. In some ways, I think I'm very insensitive. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I need to kind of come to terms with this one. That's its own kind of log in and of itself. My ways in which I'm oversensitive and ways in which I'm almost like um, sociopath. I don't know, right? Like very insensitive about some things and very sensitive about other things, right? Like I'll unpack that one sometime, not tonight. Oh, I'll see some things I got that came through this week. Got this. I buy one of these every year since I started at this company. Basically, since I started really saving money, right? So I was starting to save money at New Relic, my last job. But then like lost the job. Horrible episode, been through this before. And before starting this job, I was down to like no savings. We're talking a matter of like $200 total savings. Granted, I had some shares from the previous company that I could cash out and would actually, give me a good chunk of change, to be honest. But like pure liquid, like down to the last few $100s. And that was the last week of EDD for me, right? And then this company made me an offer and was willing to allow me to start without even the background check first. But then, since then, it's kind of how I built up my savings. Eventually, cashed out those shares I had, and built out my savings. And first thing I bought, not first thing I bought, but like at the end of the year to kind of commemorate this commitment to savings, because I made the commitment previously when I was 28. I was like, okay, I've been adulting for 10 years. I lived my life without the last 10 years without really caring about saving by design. The idea was don't give a fuck about money. You're young, just like live the life you like, want to live without going into debt. That's really the only rule. Just don't go into debt and do what you want and don't care about money, live freely, right? Because when I was much younger, I cared way too much about money. I saved money, so much money, right? Like I saved every little penny, really stingy, frugal, right? Like anywhere I could. And then kind of went to college and decided I wanted to be different, right? And I could save money later in life, and I just really want to not care about money. And then when I hit 20, I'm like, okay, I've been adulting for a decade, time to really start caring about money. But then the bottom fell out from under me, and by the time I was 29, I was down to nothing, So never mind that. But then built it back up here at this company, living at home, right? Making that commute every day, hour and 15 minutes each way, but at the same time saving money. At the end of that first year, 2017, I bought myself a platinum platypus, right? Platinum, 1 ounce platinum coin. Then the next year, I bought myself a gold coin, Double Dragon, 2018. Third year, bought myself another platinum, this time unicorn, breaking free of the chains, right? 2000, end of 2019, broke free of the chains. And then here, 2020, about this gold again. I guess we'll go gold every even year. I don't know. I'm not making rules for myself, but I have four, and gold have been the even years, and platinum have been the odd. And this one is the I don't know if you can see this. White Lion of Mortimer, single line, no crown, right? And then the white rose of Yorkshire, right? The Yorkshire rose. And that's the commemorative token for 2020. And I look to buy one each and every year. And then eventually when I die, I can go to my son, my grandson, my daughter, my granddaughter, whomever, right? Leave some little heirlooms and commemorative, like they're commemorative coins, quite literally, but of actual value, and in all likelihood, it'll be more valuable, in 10 years than they are today. It's pure precious metal at the end of the day. Personally, I prefer platinum to gold. I think gold, like pure gold, actually almost looks kind of fake. And then granted, platinum just looks like silver, but platinum at the end of the day is harder, it's rarer. I'm more partial to it too. Got this platinum too. Like this is the most expensive personal item I own, and I think I'll ever own, outside of like a Grail watch, right? Outside of a house and a car, okay, of course, right? Outside of a house and a car and a watch, I don't think I'll ever buy anything more expensive for myself, like personal item than this. There will be one more, it'll be a watch. And hopefully I don't get too obsessed with the watch game. But on that topic, I also got this, I got this is my gold watch, right? Same as this guy, right? But I went gold because I wanted to commemorate this year in some way. I was looking at hella really expensive watches. And I was like, you know what? I was gonna get the gold version of the one because I got this at the beginning of last year. And it's been great, right? Given the time zones I'm constantly working, like having all that in this was awesome. I was like, okay, rather than go buy like a really expensive watch, I'm just gonna go buy the gold version of what I've got. Not expensive, not like this. And this is the most expensive coin I bought because gold's more expensive than ever. I really, I was thinking I really should have gone platinum, to be honest. This year's platinum is actually less than gold lately. It's been that way since like last year too, right? But I couldn't find the coin I wanted in platinum, but this they had in gold. So I went with this. Yeah. And most expensive gold's been in, I think, ever. I think ever. So commemorate that, right? Shit. And that's not, and the watch obviously not real gold, right? But got my gold watch and my gold coin. And this new mic. How's it sounding, by the way? How am I sounding? And all this I didn't buy this week. I was not in a state to buy shit this week. I was feeling like shit this week. This is all shit bought last week when I was feeling much better. The mic was bought months ago, back in like September, I think, right? Yeah, back in like September. It's been what, four months coming, and then it's delayed hella days because of like Corona and whatnot. And Indiegogo always have delays, man. You just expect as much as okay, right? As long as it comes through and it's all good, no worries, man. And with all that said, I don't know that I have much more really to say today. Oh, 1 year anniversary of me living in London. That's today or yesterday. Let's see, what time is it today? It's 2:32 a.m. GMT, Saturday, February 6, 2021. I think I started this at 1 something. I forgot to call it out when I started it, but yeah, 1 year anniversary was supposed to be a big adventure, and in some ways it was, but more a personal one than anything. I mean, been out here 12 months and been on lockdown 11, essentially. Now we're gotta have this discussion about renewing my rent on this spot or not, and at what price. I think I want to renew because I haven't even experienced the area. Like, can you imagine coming out of, if I moved out of here, and people ask where did I live when I first moved to London, I'd be like, oh, I lived in Camden or Camden Town, right? And if somebody were to say, oh, you ever been there? Oh, I know Camden Town. Like, ever been there or there? I'd be like, no, and no. Like I would, it's like I'm lying about having lived there, right? I mean, I really just want to experience this place before I really let this place be all it could be before I leave it. And like a big part of the appeal of this place when I first saw it was, oh, this would be great to have people over at. And I've had a grand total of one guest, plus my mom, plus my CEO very briefly. And he just came here to meet me, and then we left to go wherever. So that that doesn't even really count as a guest, right? He came through just to see where I live, basically. And then we went from here to wherever. That was a good day together, actually. We spent like it was like a 13-hour type day, you know. Met up at like 2, parted ways at like 1 or whatever it was, right? Um, and my mom and this one other dude, and that's it. So technically just one dude. I've had one dude here in 11 months. I've had one dude guest. Go me. Well done, part of that bachelor life. You were like, all stoked to live. You really did it up, didn't you? So yeah, I want to at least live here at least one more year, right? That'd be hilarious. Yeah. What to say? So yeah, I want to renew, but I'm trying to renegotiate, of course, right? Especially because I still haven't got that fucking extractor fixed, man. There's no windows in that bathroom, all bad. Almost a year later. Then I found out they're telling me I need to get an antenna for this TV. Like, wait, what? I have to buy an antenna for this TV to work? That's what the uh, agent was telling me. I was like, what? No, bro. Why is there not an antenna with this TV? Like, okay, that they're really stingy. Like, they don't even include antenna. There's a TV, sure. And I guess I should be grateful there's a TV even. But TV without antenna, what? I have to go buy an antenna. I didn't know this. Everyone was telling me, oh no, England, you just turn on the TV, it works. And I was like, no, guys, it doesn't. Everyone's looking at me like I'm retarded. Or even my grandparents, like, no, boy, you just don't, like, just to turn it on, it works. I'm like, guys, it doesn't. And then now I tell the agent, oh, I need to buy an antenna. Nobody was telling me I need to buy an antenna. There's some disconnect here. I need to crack this code, And I even bought like a TV license that apparently you don't even need to buy to get TV, right? So that was a waste of money. Like, and I went a long time without even buying it. I didn't even purchase it until like August or something because I was like, I don't want TV. Then come like August, September, I'm like, dude, Corona's getting crazy. Elections are coming. There's all these protests. I kind of want to watch. Pulled the trigger on like the license. I think Premier League came back too. I was like, I want to watch some Premier League. Yeah, and that all factored in the decision to pull the trigger on buying the license, thinking that was what I was missing in a way. And I gotta go buy an antenna, I guess. I don't know. What else? Do I have anything I want to talk about, really? It was a bad week, personally, and I'll just come full circle on this, honestly, and say that it really tested me because, I was saying in like the last one, I just want to be successful and overcome my personal challenges. We all carry our own cross. That's kind of what I was saying last week, kind of talking about my quote unquote cross, right? And what I want to prove and how I want to be successful and how important it is to me to prove to myself and others this and that. And then this week, it felt like I was just eating shit. I felt like nothing was working right. I felt so off. I just wanted to all this disappear, myself included, kind of thing. It was bad, but here we are, got through it, reporting on it. On to the next one. And in a way, I guess there's a kind of poetic irony there that the last week of being out here a year was the hardest, to be honest, somehow. It's harder than the struggle of like finding a place, of like getting the place put together on lockdown, right? Like it was harder than anything thus far this year. Was the last week of the year. What the fuck? That was weird. And this is one I really should like I said before, I should really be writing, not speaking, because this is the type of week where I'll be better served sitting down and writing about it than trying to talk about it. right? To be honest. So maybe I will, maybe I won't. But other thing about today too, very significant about today. Not only is it my 1 year mark of moving here, but today is the day that all the reports I've been building for all my Zendesk customers over the last close to 4 years disappear. Poof, gone. And I kid you not, there is nothing in the last, how long have I worked here? What does LinkedIn say? Can't even think. I know I started like June 2017, but what does that mean in terms of like year and month, right? How long have I been working here? In the last 3 years and 9 months, says LinkedIn. So really 3 years, 8 months, right? In the last 3 years and 8 months, there is nothing I've spent more time doing other than sleeping than all this reporting. I have no doubt about that being true. Without a shadow of doubt, nothing I've spent more time doing. Only thing that might even come close is customer calls. Sleeping, I still think building this reporting across all my Zendesk customers, time spent in this reporting platform, and then maybe a close third, actual time on customer calls. And now all of a sudden, all those reports poof gone forever, right? Like I never even spent how many hundreds of hours, I swear to God, dude, hundreds, we're talking triple digit number of hours over the last 3 years, 8 months gone today. And I have not migrated a single one of my customers. Not a single one have I replicated all the reporting for in this new reporting thing. And I've tasked one of my colleagues with like learning it up and training me, and she's shown me. Actually, I am really pleased with. She's guiding me well, and like where I need help, she's been able to help. Now she struggled at first because she was trying to figure it out too. But today I need help with something. I really put her to the test. Today's the final day. It's going away. Can you help me with this report? And we got it. Yeah, she guided me through it, and the report looks right. I have no way of comparing as of now to the old report because the old report poof gone. But in a way, I'm kind of, oh shit, I really should be going through all my customers right now, exporting all the reporting so I can compare. Fuck it, poof, it's gone. No fucking comparing. No, this agonizing over the numbers not aligning, right? All new reporting, fuck it, it is what it is. We're starting from scratch. We're doing it live, right? Like, fuck it, we're doing it live. I'm not gonna sit there and agonize about why this report doesn't match up all report. We're just starting from scratch across the board. And when I say I spent easily over 100 hours, easily, I'm honestly probably 200 hours, more maybe, probably more than 200 hours building this reporting for all these customers over the last 3.5 years. I'm gonna have to fast track all that over a weekend, man. This weekend, no less. It's all gone, poof. Should I just go through and just export everything right now? Is it even still there? They said it ends today, but today, what time zone, motherfucker? We're talking Pacific time. They didn't call out in like the notification. What ended day to day, according to who? Hawaii, hopefully. Hopefully, at least Pacific time. I can go through right now and export everybody. I'm gonna do that. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do really quick. End it there. Hopefully, I still can. Fuck trying to compare, but at least I'll have it on hand. Is what I'm trying to say. So let me get to that, and then I'm done for the day. And yeah, we'll speak next week. In the meantime, much love. Be happy. Do good. Love out.